Hi, I'm Nicola Cairncross.
Hi, hello, hey, hi.
I'm going to talk to you about success. Yes.
Hi everyone, it's Nicola here, and it's been another quiet week in Stoupa because it has been raining every day. I think I'm going to go away next February because it rains a lot, and it doesn't rain a lot the rest of the time. So last year it was the coldest winter for 20 years, so I didn't really know what it was doing in February apart from the fact it was perishing. So yeah, February, I think I'm going to go on the Marketers Cruise next end of January through to the traffic and conversions in San Diego, because that's where a lot of my mates are right this red hot second, and I'm feeling ready to go out and about a lot more now. So I've just put the word out that I'm available for more speaking gigs. Dave Van Hoos, who's a mate from the cruise, has just put out a call for international speakers, and as I'm only 45 minutes from Kalamata Airport and only 3.5 hours or so from Athens, I think I could nip about the world doing speaking gigs very easily. So if you know anyone who's looking for either a selling from the stage kind of speaker or a keynote speaker, then put me in touch, or come send them to nicolacairncross.com/speaking. What else has been happening? So what have I been doing with myself? It's been very quiet because my friend Steph's been away this week as well. She's been in England, and so what I've been doing this week is mainly cooking, catching up with the Kardashians, my secret vice, and also I've been learning how to trade online. So something I've sort of looked into back in '95 when Phoebe was a baby 20 years ago, and I didn't think I was temperamentally suited for it. I didn't think I was more patient enough, but I think I'm getting more so now, because I'll tell you how it started. I had some Bitcoin and various other cryptocurrencies, and I started watching some videos on YouTube by these guys called the Charting Guys, and they're really, really good, and they put out daily briefings on what's going on with the main top 5 cryptos, and they are so good at teaching that I couldn't help picking some stuff up. So I thought, okay, let's go a little bit further with this. And I don't know about you, but I'm an obsessive learner. I love to learn. It's one of my core skills. It's one of my key values, and I really enjoy doing it. I love learning something new. But I tend to deep dive immerse myself. So over the weekend particularly, I was just learning how to trade cryptocurrencies, and I'm talking about day trading, you know, where you go in and out of a trade within a day. And so yeah, that's been a nice fun thing. It's because I can't play poker, you see, and people who play poker are apparently quite good at trading crypto, so I thought I'd give that a go. Some people will be watching this saying she wasn't that good at poker really, but I did win a cup once. Unfortunately, I haven't got it with me, so I can't prove that. But I was the Crown and Anchor regional champion for one whole quarter. So yeah, what else? Been reading lots of books. I've read Longbourn, which is a book written about the servants in the background of Pride and Prejudice. It's really good, beautifully written and very funny in a sort of ironic kind of way. So if you enjoyed Pride and Prejudice, go and get yourself a copy of Longbourn. It's a great read if you like historical drama. So let's get on with the show, shall we? So what I wanted to talk to you about this week was the whole concept of you being the driver of your business. I had a call today with one of our new Be Everywhere Online Done For You clients, and we had this conversation. She's just had a baby, to be fair, so you know her attention's been off the ball a little bit, but she also had a VA who'd had a baby as well, and had not been very well, which is all very understandable, but the VA had just simply disappeared. So you know, they weren't responding to emails and things like that, and it's a concept that's bothered me ever since I was in the music industry, and I used to manage artists, and I used to send off tapes. Do you remember tapes? Cassette tapes? So the way to do this was you'd send off a cassette, well, you'd make contact with an A&R person at a publishing company or a record label. You'd try and get to know that A&R person, and they'd often say, send us a tape. Now you knew damn well that often a lot of these tapes just went straight in the box under the desk, but if you had established a personal relationship with this A&R person, they might might slip it into a cassette player and they might listen to it. But the thing that used to bother me was when to follow up. Do you give them 5 days to listen? Do you give them a week to listen? Do you ring up like the day after? Do you ring email? We didn't really have email in those days. Well, it was sort of early 90s, so we sort of had email, but not many people did. So yeah, telephone was the main method of communication. Now you could just Facebook message someone. But yeah, it was really weird because you had this whole thing about how long do you leave it before you follow up, and this is a similar kind of dilemma to the one where your VA disappears and your jobs aren't getting done. And I was talking to my client about this today, and I was saying the thing is, nobody's ever going to care about your business like you do, and you need to be the one in the driving seat of your business. And if you go off the boil, then everyone else is going to. Now I'm really lucky because Phoebe and Sarah, who are my team, Sarah particularly is extremely organised, and she chivies us along when we're not doing the things on the right days. And I've got to say that, you know, I talked about this last week, that getting these recordings to Phoebe is my biggest challenge. By the way, if you ever noticed I've got dirty hands or dirty mittens, it's because I have often just filled the fire or, you know, put wood on the fire, and somehow this black soot stuff gets everywhere. I got distracted. Squirrel! And anyway, so coming back to you need to drive your business, because nobody is going to care about your business like you do, and there is a fine line between being efficient and driving your business forward and being unkind. And the thing is, it's all about being worried about hurting other people's feelings. Whereas I think that if you try, I do struggle with this, to take the emotion out of things, but it's something I've worked on quite hard over the years, and I'm getting there, I think. So you've got to try and take all the emotion out of things, and you've got to try and be relentlessly polite, but relentless nonetheless, about driving your business forward. And it's the same when people don't pay on time. I have a real issue when people don't pay on time, because they don't know what that's doing to your cash flow. And it might well be not that you haven't not got any money, but it might be that you actually had earmarked to pay someone with the money that you were quite rightly expecting, because you've done the work. And if people come along and they don't pay you on time, you then have to follow up. And I followed up someone twice this week by email and by Facebook message, and they didn't respond at all. So in the end, I emailed their VA and themselves and said, is there anything I can do to help to get this paid on time? Because it's obviously causing issues in my own cash flow. If it's a cash flow issue your end, just say so and we'll work something out. If it's not, then is there any reason why you couldn't pay it today? So it's an embarrassing thing to do sometimes, following up. It's an emotional thing. It probably presses some of your hot buttons, but you've got to find a way to do it politely, unemotionally, and in a business-like manner, because nobody cares about your business like you do, and nobody's going to drive it forward unless you do. I hope that helps. If you've got any issues around this whole topic, love to hear from you. Use the comments box underneath on YouTube, Facebook, or on the blog at nicolacairncross.com/blog. And I hope that this helps you follow someone up this week that you've been avoiding following up. You know those things where people say, oh, you must call me or send me something, and then you sort of feel a bit embarrassed to call them or email them? I'd like to encourage you just to do that this week. Keep the emotion out of it, but do that follow-up call or email. Comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so after last week where I got completely confused about what was on the blog and the podcast, I've decided to just bring the phone back. Here it is. So on the blog, nicolacairncross.com/blog, you will see the latest Vzine, which is episode 56, has gone up. It says, the title is, Will You Just Stay Focused for a Minute? Which is ironic, really, as I find I do dart about rather in the things I'm interested in. But I'm very focused on my business right now. I've got Clicks and Leads Academy and Clicks and Leads Done For You service, and we're starting to attract our first clients on the Done For You service, and Sarah and I are getting really stuck in with setting up all the processes and things like that, so really enjoying that. So yeah, so I'm talking about if you get focused, then you'll stop prevaricating, hopefully. hopefully. Prevarication is a protective mechanism, and it's there to protect you when you're feeling scared of making the wrong decision. But if you get focused about what you want and just step by step move ahead, then you'll be able to move forward with your business. And Vzine 56 is all about that. You can also catch all the Vzine episodes on nicolacairncross.com/Vzine, or look on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. It's quite nice to subscribe on the YouTube channel because you can go back through them all in order if you want to. And Own It episode 168 is all about having fun versus being professional. Judith and I had some feedback from someone that wound me up a little bit on this episode, so do feel free to go and find out what we have to say about having fun versus being professional and where you draw the line. What else we got then? Oh, yeah, just to remind you about Vzine 55, because it did feature the fantastic takeoff of Falcon Heavy, which was a momentous event, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. So go and check it out. What else is happening? I've been submitting all my podcasts to things like Radio Public, where you get paid per listen, which is quite interesting. And what else have I been doing? Not much else. I did a survey to see how often people want to hear from me, and the popular consensus was 3 times a week. And of course, since then, I've been so interested in learning to trade cryptos that I've actually not written a Vzine, or an ezine, sorry. So better get back to that. I better get back to my old routine this week. So yeah, do come and say hello. Come and comment on the blog, on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook. And the one thing I'm starting to think about now is, should I do another workshop? I'm coming back to the UK in May, and I could do a 1-day workshop on being everywhere online. So if you might be interested in coming along to that in the Gatwick area, then do comment underneath. Speak to you later. Bye.